Today we're going to take a look at the Polish MUA gas mask, which is quite interesting. It's another PMG kind of thing, but it's PMG-2 type of mask, but it's not PMG-2. So, the Polish MUA also has the name of basically being an M41 with some more letters on the end. The military designation is the M41 with the more letters on it. The MUA is the one everybody calls it. Apparently it was called MUA if it was used for industry, and the other name if it was militarily, but MUA is easier to say, so everybody calls it that. So, it's an M41, it's the Polish OM14 version of the M41, with a voice diaphragm on the front. Other than that, it's very simple. It's got the M41 look. A lot of people confuse that for a GP5, but the M41 came first. The GP5 is a cheaper built version of an M41. So this particular one was built in 1984. Serial number F20795 by the look of it, or production run 95, and it's a size 2. So you've seen all of these sort of type of things before. I'll just fold the hood in so you can see the inside of the mask. There's a bit of rust on the eyepieces, but you've got a voice diaphragm there, and you've got your intake there, exhale there. Exactly the same interior really as a GP5 or an M41, it's just got a voice diaphragm on it. So it replaced the OM14, but it is basically just an OM14 with a voice diaphragm, which I'll show you now. So on the left we have the OM14, and on the right we have the MUA. The OM14 looks a bit bigger because it's a size 3, that's a size 2. Now the interesting thing is on the production numbers, this OM14 was made in 1988, while the MUA was made in 1984. So, despite the fact they had the improved mask, they were still doing production runs of the older, more primitive one. As I said, the only actual difference between these is the MUA has the voice diaphragm on the front. Other than that, they're identical. The thing I like with this Polish masks is that their Polish version of the M41 has this kind of chrome-looking metal at the bottom, whereas obviously on the GP5s and the Russian type ones, the Russian M41s, it's always that just sort of brown or slightly green looking metal, not the shiny and chrome one. So the mask was meant to be used with a filter canister and a hose in the bag behind it, as you can see, and I'm not going to be using that filter because they contain asbestos. So when I test the MUA in a minute, I'm just going to put one of my 40mm Polish ABEK filters on it that will fit it. So to show you, there's the mask with the hose with the Polish ABEK filter that's perfectly safe as I'll test it. Now Poland, weirdly enough, replaced this mask with something that was far less practical. So Poland actually replaced this with the MP4 Bulldog, which is the mask on the right, but it's an M17 clone with cheek filters. So obviously this is a lot less practical because it had cheek filters in it, and it wasn't long before they went to a mask called the MP5 to replace the MP4. But really, before they went to the MP5, they should have just kept the OM14 in service in either the MUA or the other format. So anyway, let's get round to testing this mask. As I said, I'm using a modern Polish 40mm filter from MASKPOL, and we'll be testing this to see if it works. Right, so I'll put the mask on. Right, I'm pretty sure that's made a seal. Let's test it. Yeah, we have a seal. So I'll spray this nasty stuff, and then when I want to test it, I'll break the seal. Check it's working. So sounds like we're getting a bit low. Anyway, that should be enough for this test, and then I'll have to get a new air freshener soon. So, it looks a bit grimy, doesn't it, this MUA, but I can't smell anything yet. Or can I? Let's check the filter connection. I think air is seeping in somehow. I'm definitely getting more and more of a smell. Well, that does seem airtight. Maybe if I breathe a bit, it'll clear the mask. I think the smell is dissipating now, so I'm assuming it wasn't quite airtight when I first had this on. Seems to be fixed now. And again, there's air getting in. Why is that?
Well, this mask has failed the test. I think the voice diaphragm might be busted. See, I can't quite put my finger on this because when I'm breathing and trying to breathe in, it seems to be airtight. It's really constricting itself to my face, but I keep getting the smell and I know these filters are good, so again the smell's gone. So is it just that there's a bit of a dodgy fit to my face of the mask? It's a size 2 Russian hood helmet type mask, so it should fit my head absolutely fine. This is odd. Well, the smell's gone again for now, so I'm assuming that that's a good sign. So anyway, I'll give you a bit more history on the mask. I was saying the MUA was designed to replace the OM14, but the production numbers suggest that they didn't actually, they just ran a parallel of this. They still made the OM14 in the process. The old Russian M41 style helmet hood mask. Obviously a very good mask, works well. I don't think the voice diaphragm on this is quite as good as the PMG-2s, the GP5Ms, the GP6s. But if you can hear me clearly enough in the video, then it probably does work. But I would say that I prefer the PMG-2 to this. I don't know what it is about this voice diaphragm, but I don't know if that's where I was getting in or not. Well, I can't smell anything for a while, so I think I just didn't have this tight enough on my face, but that's given me a bit of jaw ache. Unlike a lot of the other Russian masks that are fairly comfortable, this one's sort of crushing me a bit. Just try and make that a bit more comfortable around my chin. That's a bit better, but it's still not brilliantly comfortable. Well, I wouldn't want to wear this mask for a long time, that's for sure. The size 2, although that is the right size for my head with these helmet masks, is putting a bit of pressure on my skull. It feels like it's going to crush me. So, I think the MUA has now passed the test because I can't smell anything at all for it, but it is rather uncomfortable. So maybe a size 3 would suit me better because my OM14 is a size 3. Maybe it's just that when the Poles made this mask, they made the sizes a bit different than the Russian sizes, I don't know. It could also maybe be that there's a hole in the hose or something silly. Where the smell's getting in, I don't know. Anyway, the mask sort of passed the test, but I'm not a massive fan of it. I think the PMG-2 was a better design, but it would have still been smarter than using this and going to the MP4 Bulldog. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you like the mask. Alright, I just thought I'd put the filter directly onto the mask like this and now try spraying a bit more air freshen. And I can't smell anything now. So I think with having the filter directly on the mask, that works quite well. So I'm assuming that there might be a little hole in the hose where I tried that. So yeah, it seems to work better having the filter directly on the mask. And yeah, I can't smell anything. So the OM14 mask itself is fine, or the MUA is fine. Maybe there's a problem with my hose for the other mask. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you found it interesting regardless. This is the Polish MUA, but I do think the PMG-2 is a better design. Larger voice diaphragm, and it's a more lightweight GP5 type material.